Now call in James Maloney, who is one of the team in Athlone with Enterprise Ireland. He looks after ag tech and works with a lot of food and agri businesses. James, EI, you've been supporting a lot of companies through COVID and Brexit. What are you seeing around the country? Are people ready? Are Brexit preparations progressing? Are people too busy trying to firefight all the challenges that COVID have brought?
I think it's exactly the points you made, David, there earlier on. Like it's a lot to ask for an SME at the minute. There's so much challenges ahead of them with COVID, trying to keep workers safe, trying to look after production, and they're dealing, from what I've seen this year, particularly on the ag side, it has been hectic. They've done really well in terms of their production of machines. Some sectors will have suffered, no doubt. Anyone supplying into the food or to that industry at the minute has suffered. Look, just to put it in figures for you, I suppose, David, there's 400 companies roughly that have applied for our Ready for Customs grant. I know you mentioned it in the notes there. The Ready for Customs grant is to give all companies, not just Enterprise Ireland companies, can apply for it, up to €9,000 of employment support, either to second someone from the business or to bring someone new in to help to get ready for all the challenges with customs and VAT and changes in the business. Now, to be eligible for that, you must have a CRO number, naturally enough, and a EORI number, and show that you're having transactions either in goods or services between the UK and Ireland.
When is the deadline for that, James?
Tomorrow.
I know, James.
Well, look, that's what we're being told at the minute, David, but it's the deadline is 3:00 tomorrow. So
I presume you're lobbying HQ of Enterprise Ireland to extend that deadline.
I believe there's work in progress. Look, the way I put it at the minute, David, is there was 20 million put aside for that fund by the government, and it hasn't been used yet.
Right.
I'd expect it to be applied, but definitely anything that's in the system before the 15th, it's a fairly quick process to apply online. I'm not suggesting that all the 83 people on this call go straight away and apply for it, but it is a good one, and it is one that could be ending tomorrow. Now, I wouldn't expect it to, but nothing's for certain on it.
Perfect. What else have you going on though? What other supports have you guys got available for food and agri businesses at the moment to help them deal with the really turbulent time that we're facing into?
We've some softer ones, David, and I think in terms of focus in the mind, if people can log on, and it's a very simple website, prepareforbrexit.ie. If you Google it, so stuff comes up on it, all the stuff that we're involved with. There's the Brexit readiness checker, and again, it's not going to give you any one-stop kind of instant solution, but what it will do is it kind of focuses the mind on the aspects maybe you haven't considered of what's happening. You know, you've talked about the customs. Some of our client companies will be dealing with supply chain issues like the steel that's coming through the UK and the availability of that, how to cater for that in terms of even the warehouse and logistics. Should they be putting in more goods into the UK in a base rather than the once-off transactions that they've been doing? Tariff management, currency management, certification, employees, all the key aspects of what Brexit is going to involve. And the big one that I see, and never mind the monetary view of this, is time. The huge implications on time in a business that's going to sap up resources that maybe traditionally be involved in sales or in other aspects of it. And there's going to be a lot of help required. And that's a thing that must be planned in for anyone going forward and how this is going to be achieved. Just on a side note, I was on the FTMTA had a webinar last week, and there was a couple of farmers on it from the UK, and have decided that Brexit is a bad idea, that it mightn't be as good as they thought, and they would have voted for Brexit at the time. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's so much uncertainty, but the certainty is we're going to have customs, but we're getting ready for Brexit. When I was in the Farmers Journal with you, David, we were talking about Brexit for 2 years before it happened, and now we're still getting ready for Brexit. So, and I think that throwing COVID into the mix there has really put a challenge on. But coming on from that, then just from where we are after the Brexit readiness checker, there's an act on initiative from EI to engage a consultant. So the natural process would be to recognise what areas you need help in, Then there's an Act On initiative where we'll provide consultancy support, and the Be Prepared Brexit grant of €5,000. And that can be to look at new markets. It can be to look at innovation in the business, and to look at maybe updoing some of the systems, what we've heard on the call here, to deal with all this extra work. And that's up to €5,000, but that's only available to an EI client. From the Leo side, again, all the traditional stuff is there, the one-on-one mentoring, the TAME grant, or the technical assistance for micro exporters. So that's looking at targeting new markets. And we were saying this is all fairly prudent advice to look for. And we've heard how the businesses have been dealing with other countries other than in the UK for a number of years. And what we're looking at, that's about €2,500 in support available through your local enterprise office. There's the Customs Insight, or the online customs training courses as well. So they can be accessed online. If you go onto the Enterprise Ireland's website or onto the local enterprise website, you'll find the details on that. And to deal with then a little bit of, and we've worked very well on the Sustaining Enterprise Fund in Enterprise Ireland at the minute, but there is going to probably be a cash flow, either with the implications on VAT, getting in goods. So it's going to be Q1 of next year will be tricky. So in terms
do you see Enterprise Ireland coming out with an equivalent sustaining enterprise fund for COVID for companies impacted by Brexit? Maybe you don't want to comment on that, but if you want to comment, feel free.
I wish I could comment on it, David. But I think you probably might see something coming like that. It's in place for COVID at the minute. A lot of companies, it's literally putting their head above water and drawing breath on it. They're on the back of a relatively good year in some cases. Some sectors are I must stress that, like, some sectors have ridden out this storm better than others, and you'll know that as well, David. And so I'd say we could see something there. It'll depend on how it all pans out, but I'd say we will. Your
message, though, in summary is the Ready for Customs grant, if you're near applying for that or thinking of it. And James, I suppose the Ready for Customs grant, just for people, it doesn't mean they have to go out and hire a new person completely.
Absolutely, David. You can second someone else from another part of the business. So you might have another person that's doing this work already, or you've lined up for them. So you can apply for the support there to put them into the role. Now you are expected to backfill the position in time of the role. But
if there's somebody there that's doing a really good job on customs, or is working in that space already, you can get to €9,000 to support them once you backfill their role. So I think that's an important point for people.
And the other thing is, you can use a half. If you don't want to put someone full time into the role, there's €4,500 available for a person
half time
on it.
Okay, that's good. There's a whole range of supports from Enterprise Ireland, from the local enterprise office. At the moment, it's focus on the practical stuff, focus on getting your VAT right, and most importantly, focus on the customs declarations, the land bridge if you're moving across. The land bridge if you're bringing product from Ireland to Europe, and how you have to deal with this in-transit piece, which Patrick covered quite well. But a lot of extra time, a lot more communication needed with your suppliers and with your customers, and a lot more paperwork to handle over the coming quarter.
And there is a voucher from Intertrade Ireland as well, David, for companies that are trading between north and south of Ireland, eligible to either side of the border. So there is support. So just
but they won't fix everything. The supports, they are a support. That's about the height of it. They are a support, but the real thing is for SMEs that are on the call today to take this as seriously as possible. I suppose the main point out of the whole piece is to ignore, to a point, the conversations that are happening in Brussels today. Whether a deal happens or no deal happens, we do know that custom declarations are needed, and that there are VAT implications. So engage with that piece now. If there is no deal, let's deal with that in a couple of days, I suppose. But at the moment, we know customs declarations need to be dealt with, and we know VAT needs to be dealt with. So deal with that now and manage that. To Lloyd, Patrick, Declan and James, my own colleagues, Noreen and Niamh, really appreciate your contributions today. We'll be hosting a further Brexit webinar on Friday, which is focused on the implications for Irish farmers. So we look forward to that on Thursday. And other than that, I'd like to wish you a good afternoon, and we'll see you Thursday. Thank you.